I'm working through a couple things here. I'm gonna need a minute in a second. I got some special shout outs I want to give out.
Hashtag special shout out.
Hashtag special shout outs.
All right.
I heard you were almost going to do truth bombs, so I'm going to go hashtag special shout outs.
I almost did truth bombs today on officiating, Wes. Almost. I kept it calm.
Well,
I kept it calm and measured. All right.
I'm kind of going to do special shout outs like that.
Let's go, Wes.
All right. Let's see. Hang on.
Give him the bomb track,
while you're setting this up, a little context here. Wes Durham was on the call last night for the Syracuse NC State game.
That's right.
Which led to an interesting exchange at the end of the game between Kevin Keatts, NC State's head coach, and Jim Boeheim, Syracuse's head coach. It wasn't malicious. There was no ill intent there. I really do think, and I think it's been kind of understood, that both Kevin Keatts and Jim Boeheim were going, man, can you believe the commissioner doesn't want us talking bad about these guys? Yeah, I got screwed too, buddy. So I think that's what the exchange was last night.
I got a special shout out. Hang on, let me start at the top. That's going to be easier.
Okay.
All right. Special shout out to Packed Merch. PACKEDMERCH. Not once did Wes Durham, Dan Bonner, or anyone else on the network mention Jarkel Joyner had a triple-double last night, and you wonder why Pack fans criticize you clowns. I don't think Jarkel Joyner got the triple-double till like the last or second to last possession of the game, but neither here nor there. By the way, it's Dave Archer's birthday. Special shout-out to my man Dave Archer I do the Falcons with.
Yeah.
At Wolfpack 2020, at Pack Gang 2020.
Uh-oh. I'm sensing a pattern.
No. I know that account, Wes. I got that account muted. I've
lost all respect for Wes Durham and Dan Bonner, how they kowtow to this bull crap on air. Grow a pair. Sir, if you've ever seen me in person, I got a large pair. Let's see. And then I got the designate Woody's boy tweet in the first half last night. A hat trick, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Touch them all. I hit it over the left field wall in the first half. Thank you. Thank you very much.
At least you didn't get this stuck in your tire leaving
I saw
whatever it's called last night.
Can I say that was almost a DIY type deal there on the interstate, it looked like, or side roads of metropolitan Raleigh.
Well,
holy cow.
Yeah, so there was a lot to it.
Yeah, man.
And that's how many tires is that inside of 12 months?
Dude.
6.
Dude. He shouldn't drive.
I can't drive anymore.
When is this segment going to be sponsored by Earl Scheib? When is this going to be sponsored by Earl Scheib?
Just brutal. Brutal, Wes. Okay.
Good to see you guys.
Wait, can I just give you one in real life?
Day.
Can I give you one in real life, though?
Sure.
I'm not sure I've ever met Dan Bonner. And I really do think he's outstanding.
The tall Virginian.
The fact that he knew Judah Mintz was shooting 20% from three was been stuck in my head all like that's really hard to do in the middle of a telecast. Like that's talent.
Well, I feel fortunate.
However, here.
No. I feel fortunate.
There's a butt coming.
I feel fortunate to work with a guy who's done the games as long as Dan has. I mean, his career started in the late 70s, and he went to TV early 80s, and he's stayed in television, and this year will be his 33rd or 34th NCAA tournament for CBS. So, I mean, it's an amazing run. But we tend to play off each other because we've worked this package together this year. We've played off on each other, knows where kind of statistical elements are, where I might go, where he might go. He knows to follow, so on and so forth. So that's a little bit of that.
In the Dan Bonner drinking game, though.
Yeah.
I really need you to say to him now, because from now on, I know it'll be intentional.
Okay.
Because I have to argue with my friend Aaron Beard over this over and over and over again.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Aaron Beard.
There is not a single person on this planet who, other than Dan Bonner, who calls them North Carolina State.
I know that.
And he went to Virginia, played at Virginia, played in the league when it was the league. So I can't for the life of me think of why he insists, I think on the first reference, to calling them North Carolina State. That is the only thing I don't like about Dan Bonner. It's the only thing.
I understand. And there are a lot of state grads who got upset with me when I used North Carolina State, and I got the special shout outs of, you grew up here, you know it's state.
Yes.
And then And then you guys remember hey, we really hope you would you mind not using just state in your broadcast?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes. You've seen all of it. You've seen the whole
game. That,
yes.
And now I've come back to trying to make it NC State, the Wolfpack, the Pack. Evidently, I'm not doing anything right because I've been,
Well, you were ignoring Jorkel
Jordan.
Triple-double.
Look, I mean, people get this is a consistency in the ACC this
year. Apparently,
year.
I'm involved in officiating too as well.
For sure. The officiating, unfortunately, has been the main talking point.
It's a storyline.
It is a storyline.
It is a storyline.
Seriously.
Is Kevin Keatts really calling you right now?
Is he really?
Take the call.
Take the call.
That.
No, go ahead.
No. You can.
Unbelievable.
Is he listening?
Is he really?
He's not listening.
He's listening, isn't he, Joe?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean,
Joe. Is he listening, Joe?
He's not listening. He's not listening right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Tell him.
Okay.
No, you could just go take the call outside the studio.
Go ahead. Take a break, Giglio. Joe and I'll do
call.
this. Yeah, you can go ahead.
We got this.
How good would that have been? How good would that have been?
It's like, so I heard you talking to Wes.
Yeah, I heard you talking to Wes. What'd he say?
He wasn't anyway. So
all right,
let's actually.
You want to talk about the post game first?
The post game, as I started this conversation, it is two coaches that clearly were going, man, can you believe this crap? And
and everybody thinks it was a rift between the two.
No,
and I'm
not.
And here's the thing. Look, I get Kevin was upset in the last 2.5 minutes. It felt like the DJ Burns 5th foul and also the offensive foul on Casey Morsell after he inadvertently hit Gerard in the face and all that it all kind of buoyed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it felt like that at the end he was frustrated because of the foul on Dewana, obviously.
Yeah.
It put Mintz at the line. Then the last part of it was it just kind of kept escalating. And when I watched the video again after the ball game, I watched it on my phone and I thought, okay, it was building for Kevin. So he was just going through the obligatory handshake line, right? And as you go through the obligatory handshake line, he probably just said, hey, coach, good game. And Boeheim almost like stopped him, right?
Yes.
And it was kind of this conversation. Well, I almost felt like that Boeheim trying to appease Kevin or side with Kevin may have said something that drove Kevin up north again, took him to another level.
I'm pretty sure if I read lips, Boeheim said, I got F'd too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure that's what he said. And that's where we go with this. And this is not just about NC State, because I know how it's funny how what I tried to talk about after the Carolina State game in Chapel Hill, it wasn't specific to NC State. It was making a larger point that inconsistencies in officiating are driving people nuts. And I'm not like Giglio where I like to pound my chest and scream, I was right about this stuff. But what has unfolded in the last, 3 weeks since that game?
Sure.
We have seen multiple instances from Hubert Davis stating facts that he only got to the line 3 times against Duke in a loss. We've seen Kyle Filipowski on the receiving end of 2 very questionable sequences, a throat punch at Virginia Tech that should have been called, in my opinion.
And the unicorn play the other night.
And the other night where the ACC, even in its explanation about what happened, didn't make a lot of sense compared to what we saw.
Right.
And these are just prime examples. And the problem we end up dealing with is that fans don't want to hear it when it happens to Carolina. Fans don't want to hear it when it happens to Duke. They only want to tell you, but it happens to us all the time.
Right, exactly.
And nobody wants to have an honest conversation about why this seems to happen all the time. And I can only point to one thing, Wes. If you think you have a high workload, you and your colleagues at ESPN calling all these college basketball games on any given night, what do you think it's like for the officials who are piecing together a sizable chunk of money from their work as a referee when they're working 5 different games in 5 different nights in 5 different cities spread across half the country? At some point, human fatigue takes over. You're also working with different crews. The NFL, for as much grief as they get, crews tend to stick together. If the ACC, if Jim Phillips truly wanted to fix this, or if college administrators truly wanted to fix this, they would find ways to correct these situations that lead to more human errors. Work the groups together. you should not have to go work a Big South game on a Wednesday.
And reduce the technology.
But I do think the first step, because technology I think can be useful, but I do think the first step is to maybe not make them full-time, but you are our officials. Mm-hmm. We have a partnership with maybe one other conference. Let's say the ACC and the SEC get into a partnership where these are your crews, okay? And tell me that the consistency does not improve in the course of a season.
I think it would. I think the other part that you're also looking at is add this to the list of where we're going, Joe. Add this to the list of where we're going.
Well,
once Governor Baker takes charge, and we get through with whatever now it may take a decade to get this done, but once you get clarity as to what the next 50 years of the NCAA is going to be, because it can't be this.
No, it can't be this, and there's also issues about good enough, in terms of what consumers will accept. You and I have plenty of offline conversations about that.
Yes, we have.
But I do also think, what actually negatively impacts fan excitement and entertainment when it comes to watching college athletics? Is it Jim Boeheim bitching about a team that supposedly bought and how NIL is ruining the game and yada, yada, yada? If you want to know the thing that's actually ruining the game for fans and what negatively impacts them night in, night out, it's not whether or not some dude got $800,000 from a collective to go play for the basketball team. It's the fact that the officials keep screwing up. So invest. I don't know. Maybe we did an NIL collective for officials. Would that work? I don't know. I don't know.
Now, look, it has become, unfortunately, a storyline. I still stay that, and look, this is not a consolation to Duke fans in any way, shape, or form. I thought what happened Saturday night at the end of the game is a unicorn play.
Yeah.
It's one you're going to get every 10 to 15 years. Yeah. And, look, can we clean up the post? And David Teal wrote about this in the Richmond paper today. Can we clean up the post-game communication between officials and a pool reporter? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that can be solved, and we can come up with a better process there so that there is some explanation. I thought, to be honest with you, despite the chaos a little bit and the uncertainty about it, I thought the league's statement was fine. They cited the case in the book, which would have been the correct call. Would have put Duke, obviously, at the free throw line. But the way Duke was shooting free throws, and Duke fans, again, don't want to hear this, but the way Duke was shooting free throws, there was no guarantee he was going to make them.
That's true.
But that all being said, what we're deviating from in this, and this is my concern, and I thought about this morning on the early flight back from Syracuse, what we're deviating from and getting away from and not getting back to is the fact that nationally this league is being hounded by every metric known to man, and yet we're going to walk ourselves. We're 2 weeks away from having a 5-team race potentially for the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've had we've had ACC. You remember those Duke undefeated and Carolina undefeated ACC runs, and Maryland with 1 or 2 losses, and 1 or 2 wins the league. I mean, look, we've got 2 teams with 3 losses, 2 with 4 right now, and 4 with 6.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a really good race right here with 3 weeks to go.
Greensboro is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, Giglio and I were joking about it. We were sitting here talking about how the ACC basketball is dead or whatever it is, and it's entirely possible that Wednesday in Greensboro will feature the 4 games, and each of those games featuring a Big 4 team.
That's correct.
It's still possible that could occur.
Yeah, I think. Look, last night, and I'll close on the thought for Syracuse and State with this. Last night did not hurt NC State.
No.
In the grand scheme of things.
Nah, it didn't. It didn't. You want to win that game, but yeah, I'm with you. It doesn't affect the NCAA tournament.
Right.
So let's fast forward to Sunday.
Okay.
Where,
holy smokes,
as much as people talk about,
are they going to move this next door and play on the ice? Because I really thought that the number of people that would want to come see the game, they should play it over there.
State and Carolina will be playing a hockey game on Monday night. Club hockey. Club hockey will be playing hockey. They'll be playing hockey on Monday. Are you back? I'm back. Okay. Is everything good?
Is Giglio? Can we welcome him back to the show now?
For those who are just tuning in, Kevin Keatts NC State's head coach called the middle of the segment. We
want to take a summary of the call before we do the show.
I mean, those conversations are between him and Giglio.
I'm sorry. Okay.
We good?
Everything's good.
Okay. It's not something he heard on the show?
No, he just needed a little back therapy.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, got it. All right.
Sometimes you need it.
I respect that. That. All right. So Sunday, Carolina
1 o'clock.
Carolina's once again finding itself in its feelings, and they need Sunday, just like they need the Virginia game and they need the Duke game. They're right back where they were last year.
They needed the Miami
game.
Well, they need 2 of the 3.
So Carolina finds itself right back where they were this time last year. All right. But the dynamics are different. There's no Coach K farewell tour. There's no Brady Manick coming in to get hot. There is no the pressure's on them this time, not the idea that, we're going into this fun and fancy free. This is legitimate. We came back for a purpose. We're not fulfilling that purpose, and it's starting to get to them.
Well, and here's the other thing, too. What ails Carolina is what Carolina can fix, let alone who they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you guys have seen them live maybe more than I have. I think that their inability to be consistent assisting on made field goals is weird. I just don't understand how this is not a better passing basketball team from that perspective. The second thing is this, too. The things we talked about with Carolina basketball a month ago and maybe almost 2 months ago are still the things we're talking about with Carolina basketball. Turnovers, defensive lapses, at times, shot selection, and quality of shot. Giglio, the old make or miss, is clearly in effect here for Carolina.
In fairness, and you did qualify by saying made baskets. They do score a lot of points from the free throw line, which you can't get assists for. So
right,
I will put that out there, but that doesn't diminish your point about the made. Baskets do seem to be coming on their own without the offense.
Yeah, and they play well against Clemson, and their assist number is pretty in perspective very good. And then they turn around the other night. They had, 4? I mean, come on.
Yeah, the defensive lapses hurt them, and Joe pointed this out. You can fluster them into rushing their shots. When they kind of take their time and go into Baycott and run what they want to run, they're pretty good.
Can we go back to the fact that I'm not saying it's like Gene Hackman coaching Hickory here, but don't they have to give 5 the ball every time down the floor at some point? Doesn't he have to touch the ball every time down the floor?
You'd think.